Hi there, please feel free to tip me a minimum of $2. I personally assure you that your contribution will go directly toward feeding children in need. Here's my satirical movie recap, keeping the original meaning intact while adding irony and commentary. In Boston, where morality is apparently best decided after a pint, Irish-American twin brothers Connor and Murphy McManus attend Mass and hear about the tragic fate of Kitty Genovese, because nothing sets the tone for vigilantism like a sermon on societal failure. Later that day, while celebrating St. Patrick's Day in the most spiritually appropriate way, drinking, they encounter Russian mobsters attempting a hostile real estate takeover, because even organized crime appreciates prime property value. A bar fight breaks out, naturally, and the brothers win, earning themselves the kind of attention that usually leads to consequences, except this time, the consequences come with more violence. When the mobsters return for revenge, Connor and Murphy kill them in self-defense, which is legally complicated but narratively convenient. Enter FBI Special Agent Paul Smecker, who investigates the case and quickly realizes that, somehow, public opinion has already crowned these two as folk heroes. After hearing their story, Smecker makes the bold professional decision to not press charges. Instead, he lets them sleep it off in a holding cell, where they receive what can only be described as divine customer support, a calling from God instructing them to eliminate evil. Because clearly, due process was taking too long. Taking this heavenly endorsement very seriously, the brothers arm themselves through an underground gun dealer, because nothing says righteous mission like illegal weapons procurement, and proceed to wipe out a room full of Russian mobsters. Along the way, they recruit Rocco, a low-level mafia errand boy who discovers that loyalty in organized crime is about as stable as a house of cards in a hurricane. Betrayed by his boss, Rocco joins the twins, proving that nothing strengthens friendships like mutual homicide. Their crusade escalates into a series of stylized executions, including taking down a mob underboss in a peep show, because subtlety has officially left the building. Meanwhile, Papa Joe, the local mafia boss, responds to the chaos by hiring Il Deuce, a legendary hitman whose reputation suggests that things are about to get significantly worse. What follows is a violent game of cat and mouse, complete with shootouts, injuries, and improvised medical care that would horrify any licensed professional. Rocco even loses a finger, which later becomes the key piece of evidence, because in a story full of bullets and blood, it's the smallest things that trip you up. Agent Smecker, now deep in moral crisis and alcohol, wrestles with the idea that these vigilantes might actually be right. After a night of questionable decision-making and spiritual consultation, he decides to help them, because if you can't beat extrajudicial killings, you might as well assist them. The trio sets their sights on Papa Joe, walking straight into an obvious trap. Rocco is killed, the twins are captured, and Smecker attempts a rescue disguised as a prostitute, because at this point, realism has fully clocked out. Just when things seem hopeless, Il Deuce reveals the ultimate plot twist. He's the twins' father. Naturally, instead of stopping them, he joins the family business of divinely sanctioned vigilantism. 3 months later, Papa Joe is on trial yet again, with everyone expecting another acquittal, because justice, as usual, is more of a suggestion. The twins, Il Deuce, and their surprisingly supportive law enforcement allies storm the courthouse, take everyone hostage, and deliver a speech about eradicating evil. Then, in a final act of theatrical justice, they execute Papa Joe in public, ensuring that their message is loud, clear, and deeply illegal. The media, always eager for a compelling narrative, dubs them the Saints, because apparently, if you add enough conviction to violence, it starts to look like virtue. Hi there, please feel free to tip me a minimum of $2. I personally assure you that your contribution will go directly toward feeding children in need.